canal done, and so I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh, I'm glad they got it taken care of for you.
Yeah, me too.
Perfect.
All right, let me bring you up on my computer. Nancy stamps, watch later. I got a notification. That's always nice.
I got a notification just now.
Oh.
We're live.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Chow. Hi, Susan or Sharon Anderson. Which is it? I forget.
Suzanne.
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 Okay. Hi, Jim. Hi, Jerry. Hi, Darlene. Pam, Dawn, Crystal, T, Vicky, Sherry, Michelle, Melissa, Sandy, Marva. Wow, everybody's here. Bam. Hello, Susie. Sharon Anderson. Which is it? Turn me down. Okay. Hello, hello. Abraham's on and his proper account name. Why y'all so quiet?
We have, I don't know, what, 50 some folks on so far. I was thinking there'd be a lot more with all these wonderful prizes tonight. Give them a chance, right?
That's right. Well, I would show my cards, but they're in the mail already, but I do have this one. Oh, it's going to blur it. Let me turn the blur off. Let's see. Virtual background, none. And you get to see my binders and door. Here's the card I made.
It's all blurry.
There's a problem with the blur. Is it like, yeah, it doesn't work well with blur, the background blur. Simon, I saw someone say Simon. Did Simon join us? Nancy, are you here? Okay.
I'm sure we're on live.
I wanted to put Daniel's links on with our stuff.
Oh, so, thank you.
So everybody's links are down below.
Need those links. My links, my links. Those are my links.
Daniel, if you weren't so busy, we'd have to make this like a monthly thing with you. You're just too much fun.
You should invite me whenever you like. I don't.
Oh, you're going to regret saying that.
I don't mind saying yes.
Well, I do want to.
Y'all was fun.
I do want to say welcome to all the arties. Because
yeah,
a lot. And I noticed I got a lot of arties subscribing to my channel, so thank you.
And I got a lot of Stamp Wars fans subscribing to Dylan Artie now, which is wonderful.
You got the FSC snobs.
The snobs.
Yeah.
They're the nicest snobs I've ever met.
That's right. We are. Right. We should have that as a catchphrase.
Someday when I come out with a stamp set, that's what we're gonna put on there.
All right.
Do you have a stamp set yet?
Who?
Daniel.
I don't have a stamp set yet.
We're gonna have to work on that. We'll have to do like make a stamp set collab thing.
Yeah, no worries. I'm up for it.
Not too much coloring though.
Oh man, I love that's my thing though.
I know.
That's his jam.
We could do a coloring one with a foiling something on it, you know? Wouldn't that be fun?
So I'm starting to feel like the odd man out here because Chow is now starting to color. Tracy's always liked to color. Nancy's been sort of doing it. I mean, I had to do a little bit of it for this, but you know.
You're getting there. It takes time. You're getting there. You're the scan and cut queen.
That's right.
Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. It is crappy allergy season. Yes.
I'm sniffling. I'm gonna go take a Benadryl. I'll be right back. Because I'm gonna be sniffling the whole entire time. I mean, I'm still going to, but hopefully not as much.
Chow says she's learning the color.
Make sure your thumbs up and live chat's on.
And Chow is getting very good at it. Tracy has a very pretty keyboard.
Jerry says, I'm with you, Stacy. No coloring.
Matching mouse.
Hi, T. Hey, Laura. Yes, we all need the scan and cut queen. That's right. All right. So I gave away 4 prizes earlier today. So if you commented on my Instagram giveaway and my Nancy Stamps giveaway, I can't even remember how many packages I've sent out. These are a combination of Foiling Snobs Club hitting 3,000 members, combination of Nancy's 22,000 subscriber giveaway, and combination of 6 years of Nancy Stamps on YouTube. So all of these things I've been doing giveaways for like 3 weeks now. But so on Instagram, if your name is Jen_Smipe or Stacy M. Graves, I've commented on Instagram for you to email in to get your prizes. And on Facebook, Chris already emailed in, and Sharon Vince. So if you commented on my Facebook or my Instagram, you are winners. You need to email foilingsnobsclub@gmail.com so that we can get your prizes. Carly, we sent you an email. I need you to check that because we had a question for you yesterday.
Abraham, never ending giveaways. That's right.
Hey, I got to keep people watching. It's not for my coloring skills.
Diana Vaz wants to know if you've been walking around your house, Nancy, and taking the temperature of everything.
No, today. So yesterday was a very productive day for me. Today was I wish this were a real laser kind of day.
Oh, so Daniel, she got a temperature gun or whatever it's called.
Abraham sent me a new toy.
I have one of those.
Yes. So she wanted to see what the plates, the different hot foil systems.
Oh, I used mine for COVID when I was like totally anxious all the time. Am I sick? Am I sick? Am I sick? Am I sick?
That's not the one for people.
Yeah, this is the industrial one.
I think Nancy needs to check her forehead and see if it works.
We did try that earlier. It didn't work.
I told her I feel uncomfortable her doing it on her body. It's just not, no.
Why?
Because it's not a person temperature one. It's the industrial one.
All right. We have 93 folks watching. Do we want to wait till we get to 100 and then start naming names?
Invite all your friends.
Does anybody have any happy mail they want to share while we're here?
I do. Yes,
right. Yes. Oh, I do too. I haven't even opened it yet. Hold on.
So Daniel, what was the most fun, or what did you get out of after you did Stamp Wars? Did anything come about with your new FSC fans? Did you get any of our crazies? Sorry about that.
I think all of them are crazy. All of them. But it takes one to know one, so there's that. I'm crazy too, so I loved seeing everyone from Stamp Wars jumping in on my live last week and having fun with me during the week. I had some extra lives this week because of Stamp Timber and Catherine Pooler and Picket Fence all had releases this week. So I had extra stuff. So I saw lots of people jumping in on those. Also, I was invited to guest on Ellen Hudson's blog, and then also for World Card Making Day, that's their next release. I just got their next release in my mailbox today. So,
ooh.
Yeah. So apparently I didn't do too bad on my card at Stamp Wars, I guess.
You did great. You did great. Yes.
I also loved your follow-up video where you made headstones out of, or gravestones out of the die, the tag die.
You want a sneak peek? I can show a sneak peek of my blog post card where I pretend.
Ooh,
This is a
great
Stamp Wars
minds.
exclusive peek. Okay, give me a second. Let me get it.
I use the ghost dies to make tombstones out of mine.
Oh wow, that's smart. Why didn't I think of it?
I was watching yours, but I was driving to work, so I couldn't comment too much.
Okay, so I ended up grabbing the slimmer tag and turning that into headstones. And then this is the result here.
Oh, that is super cool.
To focus a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but anyway, those look much more like tombstones. And this was the first one I did, which still looks like tombstones, but they're kind of too big for the card. I think the proportions are better with this one, where the smaller tombstones are coming up with the
ghosts. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, thanks.
I love the foggy, misty scene you made. That was a great idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
So while we're waiting,
all right, we got 101. So if you guys are going to show your cards.
So I got a card from Jen Nelson. I think Tracy got one of these as well. So it's really pretty. Is that foiled? That's got to be foiled. I don't know. That looks foiled.
Wow, that's pretty.
Okay. It's got a beautiful bee.
Who sent that to you?
Jen Nelson from the FSC.
I'm jealous.
And I think she might be on here. And nope, she's not. And then I also got a card from my BFF Renee. And this one's really pretty. I'm pretty sure she did some alcohol ink. I know she used an embossing folder. She's got a die cut, and she also, I think, put a piece of acetate over this. Like, that's the alcohol ink, and then she put acetate over it.
Did she emboss the acetate or emboss the paper behind it?
She embossed the paper behind it, but then put the acetate over it, like as a a window covering.
That's pretty.
Very pretty. Love it. That is so pretty, Renee. That's all I got right now.
Thanks, guys. Very pretty.
I also have the Amazon card that everybody's shown from
Jerry.
Jerry. Super cute.
Jerry's on. Thanks, Jerry.
I love it.
I have this card from Jen Nelson. Look how pretty, you guys.
Wow,
that is
Jen
so
is
gorgeous.
spoiler.
I mean,
She's
amazing. Amazing. She
that
not
is
only
a
foiled
FSC approved card.
Yes.
Yeah, she foiled the background that she has here and also the main panel. It's just gorgeous.
Yes.
So for Card Swap this month, it is the theme of new beginnings. And so I have received two gorgeous, like, welcome to your new home cards.
That's cool.
This one is from Barbara Ann, and this one is from Carol Lamb. So Carol, what a great idea. She used an embossing folder as her background. And I have this embossing folder, and I would have never thought to use that as a background. So Stacy, she created a scene. It's an embossing folder, but she used it as her sky. So instead of making clouds in the background, it's a floral embossing folder.
Very cool.
I don't know if you can see that or not, but
I can see it. Yes.
Very creative.
Yeah, and this one's beautiful too, from Barbara Ann. So I'm so excited because now I have, if I have anybody that moves into a new home, now I have some beautiful cards I can share.
And Stacy, you just got new neighbors, so that would be cool.
I already gave them a welcome to the neighborhood card.
All right. She's on it. She's on it.
And we have Chow.
One of those in my stash just in case. I got to make a new one.
Yes, we have Chow and T on as admins, and T is correct. She says Simon's new stamps would have been good for that one too. Yes, I love his new couch stamps. They are super cute. Yes.
I got a card from Nancy.
You did?
I did. It's over in my house though. It's not here in the studio. But I would show it off, but I didn't bring it. It's over there.
You'll have to just take a picture of it and put it on your Instagram.
Yeah. Like, I got a card from the Nancy stamps.
I hope it's one I made.
I don't know if you made it or not.
I have little elves helping me now, Daniel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
She subcontracts.
Mhm.
Nice.
Hey, I don't lie about it.
Nope.
Chantel said I made it. Chantel said I made it.
Do we want to know what said the card? Hold on. Somebody said, Stacy, do we want to know what it said? Oh,
Probably the card you sent to the neighbors is what she means.
oh,
Simon Hurley is here. Hi, Simon.
Yes. Simon is an FSCer.
yeah.
He's a nice snob too, then.
Simon and I did foiling, Daniel. So whenever you're ready,
Yeah.
we can teach you.
I just got to get the machine, right?
Yep.
So your next, word I'm looking for, fundraiser will be for
A mink, a mini
Oh,
mink.
my next- yeah, my
That's a
next-
great idea. Yeah.
your little
All
banner.
right.
I'm sure the FSC team will be happy to help you out with that.
If you want to see me foil, you're gonna have to help me get the machine.
There we go. It's a great idea.
Do a little start a fundraiser and we'll send our people over.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. We want to do some giveaways.
Sure.
All
That's what we're here
right.
for, right? Well, that's the first part of why we're here.
You go ahead, Stacy. You can do yours and Chow's and then Tracy, and then I'll do mine. Daniel
All right.
gave his away on his channel already.
Yes, he
So
did.
if you missed it, you gotta go watch Del and Artie. Channel link is down below.
Okay, so I'm gonna do Chow's first. All right. Simon Hurley, Dusty. That's what he just said.
That's right, Simon. He's a pro now.
Simon needs to do a stamp wars.
Oh, that's a good idea. Simon's very busy lately, so we might have to wait a while.
Richard Newsom just ordered his glimmer machine from Hobby Lobby.
Woo!
right. Nice. Okay, so I have Chow's winner is Robin DeBusk. Robin.
Congratulations, Robin.
And she said, love your cards. You are the sweetest. That was sweet of you, Robin. Okay, and then hold please. I got to put in mine. Total comments 63. Okay, so in my video, I asked the same question I asked during our live as to what candy would you give out for Halloween. So Deborah Schwenk is my winner. And she said, I like your card. I would give out Snickers minis. I could go for those. Those are good.
That sounds yummy.
Congrats,
Oh.
Deborah. So for those two winners and all the other winners that we will be announcing, please email us at foilingsnobsclub@gmail.com to claim your prize and give us your address so that we can mail out your prize.
Yes, please do
And
not send an
also-
email to Nancy Stamps because I don't
No.
know who that is. It's not
Yeah.
me. My email is nancystamps15. But if you do not email Foiling Snobs Club, do not message us, do not PM us, do not IG us, foilingsnobsclub@gmail.com. And the reason is we all mail out different prize packages, and that is our universal email. So if you don't email that email and claim it, then you don't get your prize. And I'm very generous with the time frame. It's just whenever I feel like it. So
And also it is open to US residents 18 and older only. So if for some
Correct.
reason you are out of the US, then sorry, and let us know and we'll
send you a
figure
card.
something out. Yeah, we'll send you a card. We'll have to pick another winner. Okay, I'm done. Bye. No, I'm just kidding.
Tracy?
Okay, let's go and see how many people commented on my video. I am looking at my app right now, and it looks like I had 56 people that were entered into my contest. And let's see who my winner is. Drum roll, please.
I'm going to pull my winner while you're doing that too, so we don't have to wait.
Okay.
Daniel, you don't have a drum roll?
I don't.
Are you ready? I have a winner, Star Patrick.
Star! Congratulations, Star.
And it says, love your cards, Tracy. Thank you, Star. Congratulations on being my winner.
I don't see her
Yay!
on the side. That's okay.
Some good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, my winner is Lynn Leonard. She says, this was my first year for Halloween card making, but I'm going to give it a try. And Lynn, you win the whole caboodle. Woo! So Lynn, you are a grand prize winner tonight. You are going to get my Stamp Wars card, and you're going to get the sentiments. You're going to get the bouquet stamp set and matching dies that we didn't even know were in there. You're going to get the farmhouse tags, and you're going to get the hot foil background. And even if you don't hot foil, you can still use it for embossing. So congratulations to Lynn Leonard. You won the Stamp Wars grand prize. Please email foilingsnobsclub@gmail.com so I can mail this out to you on Monday. Congratulations.
Congrats, Lynn. She is on. I don't know if she's commented. I tagged her. So there she is. Yahoo! Thank you.
Lynn, do you have a hot foiling machine? Just out of curiosity. Maybe some extras will come along with the package.
Oh, yeah. Actually, for those, that one, Chow and mine, if you don't mind letting us know if you have hot foil. If you would like
her list. Okay. It's fine. Somebody did comment on my video. I don't do hot foiling, but I had to buy the plate after I saw how Daniel used it. So that was cool.
Nice.
That's great.
Yay.
All right. Those are all our winners. Daniel, if you want to hang out with us, you can, but you're certainly not obligated. We're going to go into what we call spend your money wisely, where we have found products that we think are the best products to buy when you maybe are just starting out with card making, stamping, and so on. For example, how many people bought like 60 kinds of black ink pads before we found the 2 or 3 that we think are the best black ink pads, right? So we did this video a couple weeks ago, and people are now asking us for more. So if you want to hang out and chime in, you certainly can. If you got other things to do, we don't mind if you have to say goodbye, whatever you want to do.
I would love to stay, but I do have my live at 9, so I got to get ready for that. So
Okay.
I love you all. It's been nice hanging out with you, and I'm open, of course. Just let me know when you'd like me to come back, if you want me to come back.
We love you, Daniel. We're definitely going to have you back.
Yes.
All right. You guys have a wonderful
Bye,
evening.
Daniel.
Have fun. Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye,
You
Daniel.
too. Bye-bye.
Simon says, now you have me shopping for a hot foil machine. Whoa, slow down there, Simon.
Whoa. Wait,
are you going to come up with some hot foil dies, Simon? You'll be the first one. Yeah. Ranger's going to be like, now you want to do hot foiling?
Well, like Daniel said, he would have loved to stay, but he does have his live that he does at 9. So he's got to go get ready for that.
Hopefully we don't lose too many RDs at 9.
Hopefully not. All right. Am I going camera down? I get to go camera down now. I don't know. I have no idea what we're doing. Other than hot foil. We're talking about hot foil at some point, but I don't know what else we're doing. So
I kind of want
to
get this temperature debate out of the way, because this is one that I just real quick want to touch on it. So obviously we're not going to be giving like hot foiling lessons here, but I just want to touch on the basics of hot foiling, because a lot of people ask, if I'm shopping for a hot foil machine, Simon, which one should I get? Right. So in the US, there are 3 choices. In Europe, there are 2 choices. So the 2 choices that we don't have in front of us, actually, Tracy might have hers to show, but she's not going to use that one, I don't think,
I have her.
Okay, the Toto machine is the European one. It's huge. It's big. I don't recommend it. I had it. I sold it. It takes up the whole table. So do not get that one. The other one that Tracy's showing there is the Go Press and Foil machine. You will see that the Go Press and Foil looks very similar to the Spellbinders machine. It works very similar to the Spellbinders machine, but the Couture Creations Go Press and Foil, a very easy one to find in Europe. It does, oh, I guess the Gemini you could get in Europe too. It has the attached top plate, which is really good about it. The only bad thing about it is it doesn't really have a heat setting or a timer setting. So on that one, it will work with any of your die cutting machines. So a platinum machine or Big Kick or Big Shot machine. So if you have a manual die cutting machine, it will work. It will not work in the Gemini machines, but it doesn't have a set heat setting and it does not have a set timer. It works very similar to the Spellbinder machine. You just got to figure out your shims and so on. But the advantage to that one is it's cheap. You can find that one for usually under $100. It's pretty accessible almost anywhere. It will work with your manual die cutting machines, but you do have to figure out your shims. That one constantly is taking different shims and you have to do your own timing in your head. So if you are using hot foils like Spellbinders Glimmer Foil or what's the other one? Couture Creations, the machine itself, Couture Creations Go Press and Foil. Those machines, that foil will work great in that machine. Do not use Gemini paper craft foil in that machine. It's way too hot. Okay. That one's going to be very similar to the Spellbinders machine, which I'm showing here. The Spellbinders foil press machine, which is on my left here. This machine only works at one temperature, which is super hot. And I've been playing around. Abraham sent me this little laser temperature guide, and it's pretty consistently coming up at 244 degrees is what it was showing me earlier. Now, right now it's saying it's not ready, but it was 244 degrees. So this is a super hot machine. The plates are not attached. I had to attach them with tape. This works again with your Big Shot machine or your platinum Spellbinders platinum machine. Will not work in the Gemini machine. And will not work with Gemini paper craft foil. So you need to use Glimmer Foil, Blue Bonnet hot foil, Couture Creations Go Press and Foil. Those are the foils that you want to use on this machine. It does have a timer, and the timer is set for approximately 60 seconds. So
I just want to clarify really quick, because you said it was the Spellbinders foil press. It is the Spellbinders Glimmer.
Spellbinders Glimmer. Thank you for correcting me. I do that a lot.
Yeah. I don't want to confuse anybody.
What this machine does is once this goes green, you hit the button and then it will go ready. And it's about 60 seconds before you can run it through your manual die cutting machine. So platinum, Big Kick. I think it also works in the Vagabond.
Yeah.
Not sure about that. Okay. So
yeah,
good.
It does.
So that one.
So the foil press and the Glimmer both work in the Vagabond.
Advantage to this machine is that it does work in those manual machines. It works at one temperature setting. It's pretty easy to figure out how to use it. And it also is fairly inexpensive. You can find it at Hobby Lobby for $75, or if you need to search online, it's around 100, 120 online. I've seen it for. Okay. And then the last one, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is our favorite because all three of us like to use this machine. This is the Gemini foil press. Now the Gemini foil press has 3 different heat settings, so you can choose low, medium, or heat. The advantage to that is you can use almost any hot foil on the market. So you can use Gemini hot foil, Spellbinders hot foil, Go Press and Foil hot foil. You can use Blue Bonnet hot foil, any of those. The other thing it has is a timer, so you can set your timer and it will foil in as low as 10 to 15 seconds on up. Takes about 30 seconds if you're on high setting. The disadvantage to this machine is it was built for the Gemini Junior. You can use it in the full size Gemini. Keep in mind that everybody's die cutting machine is different. So you may have to work with shims on any of the machines. Just keep that in mind, depending on the thickness of the paper you're foiling and your die cutting machine. So you may have to figure out your own system with shims and so on. This machine, the top plate is also not attached. I've used heat safe tape to attach mine. Will only work in the Gemini die cutting machines. You are not allowed to use this in the Big Shot or the Platinum machine. If you have the full-size Gemini, you can buy an extender plate. This will not work in the full-size Gemini alone. You have to buy the extender plate, and they now make an extender platform. The disadvantage to this machine that I think we will all agree on is the platform warps. Okay, and I have two platforms, and what will happen is as this gets hot, this platform is very thin. I will show you the thickness here between the glimmer. Okay, so you can see the glimmer is very thick compared to the foil press. So because it is thin, it will warp once it gets too hot. If you are using the high temperature foils like the glimmer foil, the Go Press and foil, the blue bonnet foils, this will start to warp, and you will have a dip in the middle. So depending on the size of your hot foil plates, you may have a miss, and then you have to go in and shim it. The fix to this is once it is warm and you take it off, you can put this whole thing underneath your Gemini machine. The Gemini will sit on it, and as it cools, it will flatten, but it will hold that warp as a memory. So once it warms up again, it will start to warp again. As you can see, mine is starting to do, and it doesn't hurt the foiling. You just have to keep that in mind. It might be quite annoying. So I try to recommend having two platforms so that when you start to see it warping and you want to continue to foil, you can buy just this top platform for around $60. The machine itself is priced around $120. It was designed in the UK by Crafter's Companion, so you can get it in the UK and in the US. So I think I pretty much covered the basics there. You guys got anything to throw in there?
One thing is, when you guys explained to me that when you turn your machine off, your Gemini, this plate will go back to sort of a normal position, right? So don't throw the plate away, in other words.
Right. Yeah, it'll flatten itself back out once it cools
I didn't
down.
realize that. When you guys told me to have a second plate, I thought you meant sort of like with a regular die cut machine, how you get rid of plates or what?
No, we're talking about this plate,
the heating,
not the top
the
plate.
heating platform.
The actual heating platform.
Oh, the actual platform itself. Okay.
Yeah, because it'll definitely warp. At the moment don't have issues as soon as mine gets plugged in and it turns on, it starts warping. But I don't have issues at the moment with my results being off or anything. But I eventually will. But I do have a backup platform.
So it really depends on which die cutting machine you have, because the Gemini Junior is not cheap. That's an expensive die cutting machine. The foil press is an expensive machine. If you're going to buy an extra platform, that adds. So if you're looking at an expense, then you have to look at which die cutting machine you have. If you don't have a die cutting machine and you're going to buy both at the same time or put it on your Christmas list, I think that all of us would recommend the foil press. Because you have that ability to change the heat and change the timing. So you can use anybody's foil, which is nice. But it's just easier just to pop this out and feed it through the Gemini. There's no cranking. It just goes right through. So.
Well, and also with the Go Press and foil, because that was the one I had before, because I didn't have a Gemini Junior and I didn't want to invest in a foil press and a Gemini Junior. So I got the Go Press and foil to use in my Vagabond, and it had very just not good. It was very unpredictable with results, and it was the shims, and it just was not very user friendly, so to speak, for me. So when I had got the Gemini Junior, then finally, and I was like, fine, I'm gonna go ahead and get the Gemini foil press, and it's been night and day. It's been absolutely just smooth. I don't really have that much overfoiling or underfoiling. It just works so much better.
So the beeping that you're hearing is my Gemini foil press. When it gets ready, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's on high now, but when I go from low to medium or high, when it's ready, it will beep. When it does a countdown timer, it will beep. And when we try to cool down, it will say cool. and all you do is disconnect your platform until it cools down. Both of these machines have a timer and they will shut off after being on for a certain period of time. I think it's around 30 minutes.
Tracy, somebody's asking, what are the pink things on your pad for? I think they're your little fingertip grabbers.
Yes, because the Gemini foil press gets hot, so
They both get
just
very
little
warm.
silicone, like for heat. You put them on. I don't know. You grab your.
They're like little
they're
pot
grabby.
holders for your fingertips.
Yes, the Gemini foil press comes with them.
Yeah, that's what I was just.
Spellbinders does not. Both of them come with a silicone mat, and both of them come with tweezers.
Oh, can somebody explain the tweezers, please?
Yeah, actually, Spellbinders has a brand new one. I'm trying to get my hands on just it. The Spellbinders one used to look like these, which is what the Couture Creations ones look like. But the Spellbinders now has one where it's just a handle with a magnet on the end, and you push a button and it releases it. But go ahead and explain the reverse tweezers. Let me grab a die.
I don't have a die. I don't have anything out. So we either have
I got
Tracy do it.
Okay,
All right.
good.
So when you go to pick up your hot foil die, you want your tweezers to be closed.
On the
They
outside.
have a magnet. Yeah, they have a magnet inside of the tweezers, which is super cool. And then when you're done, you just open and that'll let it fall. That is for safety precautions. So that is a really innovative way of keeping your fingers from getting burned.
So you don't grab them with your tweezers like this, because then you won't be able to drop them. So you grab from the outside.
And both,
Yeah, you can use the actual tweezer part of those on something that's not metal. Otherwise, it just does not work. But I only use them for my hot plates.
Okay, so let me answer the temperature question here while we're here. The Spellbinder Glimmer machine gets the hottest, okay? So I keep playing around with this, but it is over 200 degrees. It's around 240 is about where it's been averaging out. So 240 degrees Fahrenheit on the Glimmer machine. Mine has been pretty consistent. It's been on for the last half an hour. And for the foil press at low, it's 173 degrees. At medium, it's 183 degrees. And at high, it looks like it's 200 degrees. So it now it's a little higher than 200 degrees. So it doesn't seem like it gets as hot as the Spellbinder's Glimmer machine, but that tells you specifically why you have to be careful with which foils you're using in each machine and how long it needs to have foil and plus pressure. So I just wanted to answer that. Thank you, Abraham, for that. I love it. Okay. Let's get into it.
Haven't we already?
Yes. So what do you guys want to know when it comes to how to spend your money wisely?
That we haven't already covered. You talking to us or are you talking to the audience?
You guys, them. I thought maybe if they ask questions, it'd be easier for us. I mean, I have a small list, but
well, what was some of the stuff that we needed to talk about while we wait for people to reply?
okay. I was thinking scissors.
Okay. That'll be quick and easy.
Yep. So I think everybody needs a pair of these Tim Holtz scissors. They pretty much cut through everything.
I don't have the big ones. I have the little ones.
I like the big handles, but any of these Tim Holtz, they're made by Tonic. They're non-stick, so they're very easy to clean off if you have to cut through foam tape, stickers, anything like that. So I think a pair, I'm going to call it utility scissors. Everybody should have a good pair of chop up your stickers, foam tape, chipboard, utility scissors. Okay.
Is that it for scissors? I think that's it.
No, I'm going to recommend I'm going to recommend 3 pairs of scissors. You guys can go from there. The second pair I'm going to recommend is some kind of super sharp point detailed scissors. I have a ton of these honeybee ones. They come in different colors. let's see here. Here we go. These, but some kind of sharp point, high quality scissors that are good quality and gonna last you well. These are for when you're doing fussy cutting. You got to get into the fine areas. These I would call like your most used, sharpest. Don't leave them around your kids' scissors. So yes, what Stacy has, but some kind of good fine point, fussy cutting scissors is what I would say. And I like Stacy has those reverse handle ones. You want to show those?
I see Simon using these all the time, and I don't use them for crafting, but I do use them for sewing. So they're spring cut scissors, and so they've got a very, very fine tip, and they are spring assisted, so they can get in. It relieves the wear and tear on your hands. So it's not
great
so bad.
for arthritis. I have a pair too that I have from Fiskars. And I fussy cut with these too. They're really nice for arthritis. But I also have the honeybee.
With this is actually Tonic Studios. I didn't realize. I probably got both of these from Joann's. But these are my fabric scissors, and if you're a sewing person, you don't mix fabric and paper. So if I'm going to use these for paper, then they're going to be for paper. So I have not transferred these over to my paper crafting. These are still in my sewing stuff.
Yeah, a lot of you guys are saying the Cutter Bee ones. Yes, these are my Cutter Bee, and I don't know why I have several of them. There's something about owning nice scissors. Like, it's just like when we go buy paper and stamps and ink. So yeah, Nancy's a fan of the Cutter Bee. Okay, don't judge me. And then the last set for me would be if you do a lot of ribbon, you need your own ribbon scissors, but you also need your own foiling scissors. So you guys see when I use these scissors, they're pretty much for foil only. I also use the rotary cutter, but you should have your own foiling scissors or ribbon scissors. Those should not be used on paper, stickers, or anything else. They really need to remain sharp. I like a long edge when I'm cutting my foil. So for foiling or ribbon, you really need to have sharp scissors. So you need to put a little note on there so your family doesn't come over and say, let me use these scissors, that these are my foiling only or my ribbon only scissors. So for me, I have 3 primary that I go to. Now, you just saw that I have 4 other scissors. I do have the small Tim Holtz as well. I don't like the small ones for fussy cutting because the Tim Holtz scissors have a little bit of a serrated edge. Yes. So when you're doing fussy cutting, that's a little annoying to have that. So a straight edge, fine point. These are Cricut scissors that somebody sent me, and I've been using them for a while. They're okay, but I would rate them as very similar to the Cutter Bee ones. They're super sharp because they're brand new.
Tonic Studios. These are the ones that are not serrated. So these are the ones I would use for.
Yes.
Look at Tracy doing her little foil
demo.
Stacy,
you know I've been dying to use this dye. I
know. I just got it. I got so many hot foil dyes.
All I've talked about for how long is this dye. I want that dye. I want that dye. Please give me that dye. So Nancy got me that dye. I love it. It's so pretty. And I put it on pattern paper. Oh, that's my goodness.
Okay, give them the foil porn. Peel it, girl.
Okay, so this is a Glimmer hot foil. I'm sorry, this is Go Press and Foil. It is the color is red orange. And I put it on my Gemini foil press, 30 seconds high heat.
There you go. Good job. Very pretty.
So
thank you, Nancy, for being my secret shopper. That's a dream come true for me right there.
So I just wanted to touch base really quick on some other types of cutting. We're talking about the rotary cutters and stuff, but this is another really good one. I like this for fine detail. So if you have like something that doesn't cut, like a die cut that doesn't cut all the way out, this is really good for getting into tight spaces. I also have, this is something that I wasted my money on as far as I'm concerned. Give me a second. I got to find them.
So this is a don't buy item.
Yes, this is a don't buy. The set of these.
Oh, I was going to buy them.
I'll send them to you. I hate them. I'll show you one reason why I don't like them. First of all, I mean, all 3 of them have different points. So that's something. So I just don't like them because when you're into something, this is the release to put the blade back in.
Oh,
And so
and
if
you
you're
smack
getting
it.
into it, it's like you hit it. It's in the worst place ever.
Uh,
But it's also just not, I don't know, it's just not as easy to control as this is. So that is my opinion. I do have one of those as well. I don't use it. I've had that for years, but I do have that one too.
I would say yes, a good X-Acto knife, but you're right. The little finger one, the blade rotates. So if you're really getting into a project, it's a lot easier to use than it looks. You think it's weird because it goes on your finger like that, but it's second nature. It's almost like writing. And because the blade rotates, it's super sharp. It gets into the tiniest little details. So if you use
mine doesn't
your scan
rotate,
and
just
cut,
want to
and
let you know,
it doesn't.
they don't
Oh,
all
you have
rotate.
a bigger one. I have a mini one.
Yeah, mine's the bigger
Okay.
blade.
So you have a regular X-Acto knife on the finger thing there.
Yeah, and this is Fiskars.
And it looks like these are all made by Fiskars. But it does help if you have something that you're trying to cut out, like my scan and cut doesn't cut all the way through, you can go through and just snip those little edges. But yes, this does come in handy. I do have one. I don't use it very often, but it is handy. But also just a regular X-Acto knife works as well. But a good sharp pair of X-Acto knives.
All right. So is that it for scissors? I have one more type of scissors that I want to share, but I want to make sure that
Tracy, you got anything you want to throw in for scissors?
No, that's all. I'm sorry. Jacob was helping me get something down, pattern paper down. I'm so sorry. Did you talk about the rotary cutter too?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we use that for cutting the foil. Yep.
That's what I use it for, with one of these little yep, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, ahead, so the last scissor I just want to share is going to be your decorative scissors.
I don't think I'm going to put that on the do not buy list.
How about though, when you bought it, 15 years ago and you never got rid of them and now you found a new use for them?
That's why it's on my do not buy list, because I don't use them anymore, because now with the fancy decal edge trimmers and the die, you don't need those scissors anymore. Now, granted, if you're really into scrapbooking and stuff, I guess you could use them, but I think most people put them by the wayside.
I found a good use for them, so maybe I'll do a video to show people what I used them for.
Okay, I'm going to say if you have them, Stacy will show you how to use them or destash them. And if you don't have
give
them,
those away. No,
they're actually them. Give them away. If you don't have them, you don't want them. Do not waste your money on them.
What do you need pinking shears for? T was saying I wish I still had my old pinking shears. I have my really old pinking shears. These things, they need to be oiled.
Yeah, we don't need those. Wanda said she sold hers at a yard sale. Good job, Wanda. Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
I'm glad I didn't sell them. I found a good use for them.
All right, let's go on the other end of scissors and let's talk about our favorite adhesives. I know T is on and she's going to say Reptile Adhesive, which is fine. I've never tried that before.
I've never heard of it before her.
I don't have Barely Arts glue, but I'm going to let Tracy talk because Tracy has had tried the Barely Arts glue and the glitter art glue, but I think she likes the Barely Arts glue because of the tip, the fine tip, she said.
Yeah, I do like this tip for whatever reason. I've had much better luck with this tip than with the art glitter glue tip. This art glitter glue tip, even though it is a fine tip, it just seems to me that I get a lot more glue out of it at one shot. Whereas the Barely Art glue, it's nice and slow. And when you're doing really detailed die cuts and stuff, it's really nice. I think they're both really great.
Yeah, I think that they're both good, which is why I don't need to buy Barely Arts if I already have art glitter glue.
Can I stop getting my glue out yet?
Yeah, I just pulled my bucket out. I would say if you're going to own some glue, I would say there's really only two kinds that you need. You need, for most of us, a paper glue, right? So art glitter glue or Barely Arts glue are very good paper glues. These glues are not wet. They're wet glues, but they don't warp your paper. Okay? Right. So they're really good. I like the art glitter glue because it dries like that. Like as soon as I put something down, it's stuck. It's a very heavy duty glue. In fact, Crafty Critta recommends we use the art glitter glue to put together the Crafty Critta boxes. When you do storage boxes, you can use your Crafty Critta glue, which I have done. But this is a super fast drying glue. If you are not comfortable with your gluing yet, and you're somebody who likes to change your mind and wiggles your paper around until it gets in its place, I would recommend a slower drying glue. Mono liquid multi liquid glue is a great glue because it's a slower drying glue, but this is also a glue that dries two ways. It dries tacky. So if you wanted to do foiling, you could use this glue once it's tacky. And if you let it dry completely with two pieces of paper, then it is permanent. So this is a nice glue for that. And it has two tips. It has the paper tip, and then it has, if you wanted to do a spreader tip, it has the spreader down here, a silicone spreader. So both of these are great glues. If you are just starting out, a slower glue, I don't know how fast Barely Art's glue. I don't know if that glues right away, if there's a little time with that, a little wiggle
It's
room with that.
faster, Nancy. It's
Okay.
faster.
So I would say if you're first starting, try this glue first and then move up to Barely Arts or Art Glitter Glue. These are just for regular gluing. As far as wasting money goes, I'm going to say we've all jumped on the glue wagon. There's a lot of companies that have shown us many, many types of glue. I mean, Stacy's got hers. Here's Nancy's bucket of glues. Okay, so I will say that the two that I no longer use, that I kind of was like on the glue wagon, like what a waste of my money, was she has the bottle there for the Nuvo. I don't really like the Nuvo, and multi-matte medium has its uses, its purposes, but it's a tiny little bottle. Once you run out, you're literally fighting this thing to get the last two drops of glue out. So
I know, it's so
don't
frustrating.
bother. Don't bother. And you know, once you have a glue that you like, you're going to continue to stick with it and continue to buy it.
I liked this glue when it first came out, but then the cost of it, I mean, it's a good glue. It's very similar to the Barely Art glue, but it's just pricey. And then also this is another one, the Connect glue.
Yep.
That same thing. This is actually filled with my Barely Art glue because I like the dispenser, but
Me
I mean,
too.
really, the price of this thing is expensive. It's not cost effective. So the Barely Art Precision Craft Glue, Abraham was asking if it dries as fast as the Art Glitter Glue. It doesn't dry quite as fast, but I like that it dries very fast compared to some of the other high water content glues, but it gives you just enough time to move stuff around. So if you're a intermediate crafter, this is the glue for you. If you're a beginner crafter, then like Nancy said, that mono glue, but just be careful because it does have higher water content. So it will leave like warps.
It's sometimes warp. You cannot be heavy with your glue on any of these. You do not want a lot of glue. Somebody asked about the Mono Clear. This is fine. I use this as well. This does warp my paper, I think, a little more than the green one does. So usually I give this to Leah to use on her projects. Somebody also asked about the two-way glue pen. Two-way glue pen is great. I always recommend this for my foilers that are out there because this is what you're going to do to touch up your foiling mistakes. Will you use this as a regular everyday glue? No, because again, we're card makers. We go through a lot of paper, a lot of ink, and a lot of glue. So you want to buy a glue bottle that's going to have a refillable base, and it's going to be, you don't want to be, hey, I need a new glue every 3 days after I make a card, right? So you want a glue bottle where you have some refillable options that is big enough that you continuously can fill it and it's cost effective. So
Nancy,
these
can
are great.
I say something too about that one that you just had in your hand? The one with, it's like a pen. I like that for the back of my sentiments as well.
Yeah.
When I'm working on a small scripty sentiment, I like the one that's shaped like a pen. It's easier for me to control. That's all.
I like to use the Barely Art glue comes with tips. You get a little container. Let me get the container out. It comes with a little container like this that has the different tips in it. And so you have a really, really, really fine tip, which you can get our fancy schmancy pins for. And then I bought another bottle because I love this glue so much that has the bigger tip. So depending on how much glue I need to lay down, I have both of these out on my desk. And then this is the refill. Isn't it cute?
Yes. And Gloria, I don't know if Gloria's on or not. Gloria makes us these fancy glue jewelry, right? And so you can put these finer tips on the art glitter glue bottles. You just screw that on and you can make this a fine tip. And I don't have any problems as long as you have the longer, what do you call this? Doohickey.
Pin.
The longer pin to go in there. I don't have any problems. So I have one that's my fine art, and this is art glitter glue, and one that's my regular nozzle. So if I'm doing bigger projects, you do need the fine one for when you're going to be doing, like Tracy said, when you're doing your sentiments or you're doing die cuts. We all die cuts fine little things. You need the little tip for those. But when you're doing your photos and your regular stamped images, then a regular glue fine. So I would say a fine tip and a regular glue, but make sure they're qualities that you're going to invest in, not a company that it costs you a lot of money and you're constantly buying glue.
Yeah.
And you don't like the nozzle, or it clogs, or it warps your paper, or it changes your ink color. Sometimes glue can seep through and your ink is smudging. So we've all been through that.
So there's a couple questions. Somebody wants to know if Eileen's is considered a cheap or inferior glue.
A lot of people
the
use
tacky glue.
Eileen's. A lot of people use Eileen's, but I think she's geared more towards fabric, right?
Yeah, I got this to try it and I did not like it. It says it's glue for crafts, hobbies, and household repairs, but it's one of those wet glues as far as I'm concerned. It's got too high of a water content in it, so it doesn't dry very fast and it leaves your paper just,
Yeah, warm. I think that's used more for mixed media, crafty, I got to put a patch on my kid's school project kind of thing.
So somebody else asked, what's ATG? I don't know what they're referring
to.
That's
the tape runner. So we can segue right into tape runners if we're okay with glues.
Hold on just a second. I think there was one more. Gloria is getting orders. Okay.
Great.
See, stainless pin. Yeah, if you're a sewer, there's a lot of pins that fit into these tops, but they are not stainless and they
will rust.
And when you then dispense your glue for the first time, it will be orange from the rust. Let me see. They're hard to find, yeah. And like a corsage pin will not work. First of all, it's too thick for the really fine point, and I believe it rusts. I never got it.
These don't rust. The ones that Gloria makes are very high quality. They're super pretty. Yes. So you'll have to contact Gloria. I'm sure she'll put her email address up there. But she uses these very beautiful jewels, and they're nice because when you take this out, you don't lose it. The lid doesn't roll away. It's right there. It's very pretty and sparkly. So you just got to remember to, put it back in there. And I have a couple of different lengths, a couple of different ones. It just depends on your season. You got to change your jewelry out.
And she does them custom too. She'll tell you what beads she has available and what colors you like, etc. Do you want to talk about this really quick? Because this is kind of in its league of its own, I think, maybe.
I have it as its own, but we could talk about it since you're already there.
Okay. Because I really don't have anything else. The E6000 maybe is the only thing, but that's nowhere near the same category.
Yes.
As
it. So can't live without pixie spray.
We're going to say just buy the pixie spray. Okay.
That's
don't
right.
buy any other stencil tacking medium, because those are generally made for home decorators. When you are doing professional stenciling, that adhesive has a bad smell to it. It's super expensive and it needs to be used in a well ventilated area. This is not as hazardous. What you do is you spray it on your stencil and you wait 60 seconds. And I think a lot of people make that mistake and they don't wait. And if you don't wait, it doesn't get tacky. It needs to dry to get tacky. We use this on our stencils all the time. If you are doing ink blending, if you're doing spritzing, paint, paste, if you're using Simon's Lunar Paste, the Pixie spray is about $10. It is so worth it. Just get yourself 2 cans when you buy it, because I'm already out of mine. What it does is it will help from seepage, and that happens all the time when we're stenciling. So when you are ink blending, spraying, paint, all the fun things, if you are using the deco foil paste and you want to do foiling, that's when you don't use this stuff. The only time you don't use Pixie spray is if you're going to be foiling, okay? That is the only no-no, and that's because it is an adhesive. Once it sticks to your project and you put foil on it, the foil will stick to wherever the adhesive is. So use it for everything else with your sprays, your glitter paste, your lunar paste, your ink blending. Great for intricate little stencils so they don't move, but do not use it if you plan on foiling, unless you're going to go and erase all the little dots. It's basically little sticky dots that leaves behind. Because if you use it for foiling, your foil will stick to it. So that's the only no-no with the Pixie spray, is do not use it if you're going to be doing foiling. Use a little tape, washi tape, low tack adhesive tape if you're going to be doing foiling.
So Candace had a question about 3M spray-on glue. So spray-on glue is a great crafty supply if you are spraying paper to paper and you want to have that a permanent adhesive. But just remember, when you put things in the mail, sometimes it gets hot or cold. And then when you take the card out of the envelope, that spray-on glue no longer has the adhesive or something is destroyed or disintegrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you have to be careful with spray-on glues. They certainly serve a purpose. But the Pixie spray is nice with stenciling. You will not get a better product for stenciling than the Pixie spray. Spray it on the back of your stencil, ink blend till your heart's content. You don't have to worry about that stencil moving.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's a lot of adhesives out there. I see somebody talking about double-sided tape. I see someone talking about dot adhesives. Absolutely. That's something you're going to have to find your niche in. I used to always use, somebody said, what's an ATG? It's a tape runner. It's an all-purpose tape gun. I don't know if that's what ATG stands for, but there are a lot of tape runners out there. I think I've shown all of these before already. So it's all in what you're comfortable with and what you learn with. I think that these guys are very handy if you're doing quick crafting and you want to zip and move along. Same with the double-sided tape, but they're very expensive. They add up. Glue is a little bit cheaper, but I will say having these guys handy, especially if you're going to a friend's house, you're doing a crop, you don't want to carry glue with you. You can carry one of these little tape runners. They have different stickiness. Some are temporary, some are permanent. Some grab your paper and rip it to shreds. Some of them, your card falls off, like Tracy just said. So you want to do your research on what you like. I recommended last time, if you are looking for a super sticky, nothing's going to come off of it adhesive, this Tombow Extreme is great. But once you stick it down, it is not coming back up. So this is great if you are adhering to foil or vellum or slick surfaces like acetate. This is really good because it is super bond, super hold on there. But there are other brands you can try out. There are some inexpensive brands, and the only thing I would warn you against is some of those inexpensive ones, they don't hold very well. So once you stick your paper on, you put it through the mail exactly like Tracy said, and your recipient, the card falls off. And also I like to look for things that are archival and acid free, because I know we say, well, we're not going to keep our cards for 100 years, but you never know who's going to put it in a scrapbook, who's going to try to save it. And if you use a product, this is any product that is not archival and not acid free, it will eventually yellow and disintegrate. So just be careful of that.
I do want to make a note.
Tape glider. Thanks, Everett.
I don't think the Barely Art Glue is acid free. So that's the difference between Barely Art Glue and the Art Glitter Glue. But somebody also mentioned sticky dots or sticky specks.
Yeah.
There's one more.
Those are great for die cutting. Xyron machine, great for die cuts. I always
artist
use
hack.
Sentiments.
double-sided. We have a double-sided, what's this stuff called? Stick It. I have Sticky Specs. I have Artist Tack. I have Elizabeth Craft Designs, scrapbook.com. So a lot of companies make these. These are great. If you're going to be die cutting, you put this on the back of your paper and then you run the die cut through. And then when you peel your die cut out, it's already sticky. They're great for that. So any of these companies work out. Again, do your homework, see what you're going to use from a pricing standpoint, and buy the one you think is going to work for you. I will tell you the Elizabeth's Crafts Designs or Sukwang tape is super popular because it is super sticky. And it comes in different sizes and widths. You can get a 1 inch, you can get a 1/8 of an inch, you can get 2 inch. So you can get all of these. Once you buy a roll, you know, it lasts you a really long time.
I just want to point out though that these aren't used for die cuts running through the die cutting machine. These are for super delicate die cuts that you've already cut out and you want to add adhesive to the back. So that's what these are. But keep in mind also, these, as well as some of these tape runners, they will lose their stick. They won't necessarily stick very well to certain papers, materials, etc. So you just have to kind of play with them, figure out what they're really good for and what they're really not. This one I found, I wanted a tape runner that was sticky because I was like trying to make envelopes and seal envelopes. This is the best one I found. That is it stays stuck, doesn't come undone. It's the best one I found. So, and if you want to find refills, you can buy the refills. If you want to find refills for a pretty cheap price, I can recommend a company. Don't have it off hand right now, but I got them for a really good price because otherwise the refills can kind of get pricey.
I use this one by Scrapbook Adhesive. It's an easy runner, and I like it because it's easy to load. It's sort of the same idea of an ATG, but I could never get the ATG to load right. It would always get, I don't know, messed up. So I like this one. I used to buy the smaller ones, but it seems like when I buy this one, and the refill is so large that it lasts me a lot longer. So that's why I like it, because I don't have to refill it so often.
And you don't have to buy these things. We're just saying these are things we've come across. And if you have them, don't forget to use them. If you don't have them, it's okay. You don't have to go out and say, hey, I got to go buy an ATG gun now. There's a lot of pros and cons to using them. It just depends on what you're going to use. I'm going to say at the end of the day, cost wise, they're pretty expensive to buy these tape runners and refill them, but you might have, I know some of you guys have arthritis and it's easier to hold a handle and pull this across and use that versus squeezing a glue bottle. So, you know, we're just showing you some of the things that we have so that you can decide, is this something you want to look into or something that, hey, I'm good with glue, I don't need to buy this. And I would say, I haven't bought a refill for this in a really long time because I basically just stopped using it because the refills for this, you get 3 in a pack for $25 at Hobby Lobby. It used to be $3 a refill. Well, we can't find them anymore, so the price has gone up. And so you want alternatives. If you can't find something, if you want a different pricing alternative, that's why we're showing these things to you guys.
I buy my refills on Amazon, and so they're actually on an automatic plan for me. Every 2 months I get 2 refills, then I know I have them. It's like I just don't have to worry about it. And it's easy on my arthritis too. It's such an easy application.
All right, good job, guys. So we covered pixie spray and we covered glue and adhesive runners. Okay, people are talking about chicken enchiladas. Pam, stop, I'm hungry. Abraham says he's starving. All right, we've gone into the food realm. We always do this.
I already had dinner, so thank goodness.
Me too.
Otherwise, I'd be starving.
I made steak tonight. Yep.
Yum.
Yeah, Richard said glue works better and is less expensive. Exactly, Richard. Peggy said she gave her ATG away. It was too big. Yeah, and a lot of people had problem with the ATGs getting jammed up. Like the rollers were always getting jammed up. So
what a nightmare for me it was. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So The next thing I have on the list is stamp cleaner. Hold on, because we got to show what not to buy with what to buy.
I don't really have what not to buy. I don't think
Don't
I
worry,
bought.
I got that covered.
Yeah, I really don't have. I'm trying to think if I ever had any other stamp cleaners. I really don't think I do. I was kind of one of those people that I didn't want to buy a stamp cleaner because well, in the beginning, I had the stamp chamois.
In the beginning.
I had the stamp chamois. So I use that thing all the time. And that thing stank after a while. And you just, yeah, I had multiple stamp chamois. So I was just using water and I didn't really want to try, Then I found this one, which I really like this one. Got it on sale. So I just stuck with this one. But then now I'm in love with this one. So this one's not being used anymore. Okay. That's my story. What's yours?
All right. Hold your horses, people. All right. Get your popcorn. Wait, I want to let Tracy say her piece before I go into mine.
So I use the Ultra Clean by Hero Arts because it's, well, I water it down a little bit because it's very potent. But then I also love this new stamp. You stamp it onto your stamp to clean it. So those are my two favorites. I also use my homemade brew, which is water, baby shampoo, and vegetable glycerin, or glycerin. Out in the sticks, we call it vegetable glycerin. So any kind of glycerin. And you just kind of mix it up and it makes a nice, and it provides some conditioning. It's just a cheaper source of stamp cleaning, but it's not as effective as Ultra Clean or the ink pad. That's what I do.
Okay. All right. So Nancy's going to go into her history of stamp cleaning here. All right. So first of all, I always use microfiber towels. Okay. A couple years back, or t-shirts or something, soft cotton. A couple years back, there was this, chamois wagon that everybody jumped on, and everybody created their own little chamois in different colors. And guess what everybody said about them?
They stink.
They get moldy and stinky. A chamois has to stay moist for it to work. It's like a sponge. It's a synthetic, and it has to get moist and work. And I even have one from Stampin' Up, and I used it for a little bit, and here it is, all dried up and crusty. I don't use it anymore. They don't work. So you can buy these microfiber cloths fairly cheap. They come in like big bags, and you can get them in different colors. And when they get stained, you can throw them in the washer and wash them. And if you're tired of looking at it, you just go buy some new ones, right? I alternate mine. When they get too bad, I switch them out, but they work great. They don't smell. You can throw them in the wash. They don't transfer ink. So I think these are great. Second part of that is you absolutely should clean your stamps every time you use them. And I'll tell you why. You're putting an investment in stamps, whether they're rubber stamps, silicone stamps, clear stamps, whatever they are. And so if they dry out, my microfiber cloths do not leave fuzzies. If you have that problem, I would recommend washing them a few times. These are some of my very first stamps, and these are rubber stamps, and I never clean them. And when you don't clean them, they don't get conditioned. And when they don't get conditioned, see what happens here? What happens? The rubber dries out and they crack. So you will eventually lose the quality of your stamps if you don't condition them, and you want to take care of your stamps. Silicone stamps, photopolymer stamps, some of those yellow if they don't get conditioned, and they literally disintegrate. So you want to take care of your stamps. I know there are some artists who say don't clean your stamps. That's personal preference. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you to clean your stamps. So the girls already mentioned this is a brand new product that Chow sent us. Thank you, Chow. So how you use this is once your stamp has ink on it, you have stamped it. Okay, it's still inky. You're not supposed to go right into this ink pad. Okay, you can, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to dab off that extra ink with your little towel. And then whatever is left, you go into this ink pad and do a little scrub there. And then you take your towel and wipe it off. And it does a really good job at cleaning. And this is designed to be disposable. So once it gets really yucky and crusty and doesn't clean anymore, you throw it away and you buy another one. This is by Ink on 3. I think we saw that Ellen Hudson's carrying it, or no?
No, I'm going to ask her though too. But
Okay.
no, she
so
does not
there's
have
no refill for this, brand new on the market. We've been trying it for a couple weeks. We're all on the same page with it.
Love
we
it.
like it. Okay.
Love it.
Yes, love it.
You
Does such a
can
great
make
job with those
And there's no
Versamark.
transfer
Yes.
either. There's no
Versafine
transfer. So if
Claire.
I take my pigment, Versafine Claire, and clean off, like there's white pigment on here from my unicorn.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It didn't pick up the
transfer.
black and move it.
Nope, it does
Okay.
not transfer.
So the other ones that I am going to recommend, and another one that Tracy said, is the Hero Arts Cleaner. Now I do take my Hero Arts Cleaner and I do dilute it because it is very strong. I joked one day and said I think it's made out of Windex. It probably
It's really
is,
strong.
but I don't think it has any alcohol in it. I think it has
Right.
glycerin in it because you can see that it's a little thicker. So I don't think it has any alcohol in it because alcohol is going to dry your stamps out. You really don't want to use alcohol. But I like the Ultra Clean a lot. I buy the refill, I refill. Okay, so Ultra Clean is definitely one I'm going to recommend. You also want to have a good, I'm going to say, Archival Ink Cleaner. All right, so I have 2 here that are pretty much the same. Now, Archival inks are StazOn inks, Archival inks. These inks are designed to be permanent. These are actually the same cleaner. One says lemon scented. Either one of these will work fine. They work great at getting that stubborn ink out. Not all inks will come out. Unfortunately, permanent ink is permanent for a reason. But again, this is nice to clean your stamp and condition your stamp because those archival inks, they have a base in them that is very drying. That's why they dry quickly and they stay on non-porous surfaces like glass and acetate. So either one of these will work fine if you need a heavy duty cleaner. I have used this for years. It's called Kiss Off Stain Remover. It is in the laundry department of your grocery store, your big box stores. This also works as a very good stain remover, not only on your clothes, but also on your stamps. So how you use this product is your stamp, you just spray it with a little bit of water or stamp cleaner, and then you use this like a little stick and it will get in there and clean everything. And then you just take your rag and wipe it off. So if you have some of this in your laundry room, this works really good at getting hard to remove inks off, just like the Archival or the StazOn. So any of these will work good for very stubborn ink. I do recommend if you need a scrubby pad. Scrubby pads are fun too, because again, we have some detailed stamps. This is an old one from Stampin' Up. And what you used to do with this guy, it's kind of big, is you would spray one side and it'd be wet and you scrub your stamp and then you go to the other side and you dry it off. So scrub it clean, dry it off. Obviously I don't use it very often because it is big and I just use my microfiber towel. But if you have one of these, I think they're really good at cleaning. I know there's a little spongy version out on the market. It kind of looks like this. So you can find a scrubber if you have really ones. This was made by Close to My Heart. I don't know if they still sell this or not. It came with a little handle. Here it is. And this is like my little mini scrubber. It's like a nail brush. If you have a nail brush, it'll work as well. But this was designed, same thing. So it has a little handle. I don't use my handle. I throw it out. But you take your stamp and it's got little bristles on there and you scrub your stamp under the sink and it will clean your stamp. So, or a nail brush is like $1, you guys. So, a soft brush will work as well. So those are pretty good. I'm only going to say there are 2 products that I was not super impressed with the hype, and I'm going to show those to you guys. I'm sure I'll hear backlash from it, but this was the Heidi Swapp Mink Stamp Cleaner. This is actually still full. Has a little dauber on the top. Really nothing special here. I really thought that it was going to clean up her toner ink. It did not work that well. Not super impressed with it. It's not a high abrasive cleaner, but I don't see anything special about this at all. And then this other one, I am using the bottle, but it's actually not what's in the bottle. This one is very hyped up. I know that Tracy had some of it as well. Some of them I think people liked because of the smells that they came with, but from what I understand, the smell didn't really last very long. I just like this bottle. I took this sprayer off of one of my hair products and I recycled the bottle, but actually what's in here is Hero Arts Ultra Clean that I have diluted with some water.
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to
So-
buy the Squeaky Clean, Nancy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't really see a big deal about it. I didn't really see what the difference was in smell. I've had a couple of them and I was like, okay, moving on. It's, more of a novelty, I guess. If you want pumpkin smelling cleaner for Halloween, then there's your stuff. But I really like the Ultra Clean the best. You'll see that I use that the most because it cleans well and it conditions my stamps at the same time. And only if I get something like super stubborn, then I'll break out one of these guys and use one of those.
So somebody had said that they use baby wipes. I just want to say that baby wipes, you're using them, it's kind of use something that's better for the environment. I'll just say that. But also they leave lint. Yeah. Yep. Some of the baby wipes do leave lint behind, and you don't want lint or anything that's going to affect the impression that your stamp makes. So if you buy a good microfiber towel, not even good, I mean, any microfiber towel should not leave lint whatsoever. That's the whole purpose of microfiber.
You got to wash it a couple times to condition it.
And if they're good ones, I mean, you can get really cheap ones that might leave lint. I don't know, but all the good ones I bought, even the ones at the dollar store, have been no lint.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Vivian says the BM one is bad. BM. So yeah. Yep. Carla, I'm gonna say they probably have some kind of collaboration going on. I'm just saying. Yeah.
That's where I started using it from. May, was the one
I
that talked
do
about
love
it.
Huggies baby wipes. I will agree with you on that, Peggy, but they're expensive and they do leave lint. So for me, I feel better using my little pile of rags that I got here and a little bit of Ultra Clean, and I'm good to go. And when these start to get kind of gross and dirty, and I feel like, okay, because I use these to wipe up glue, I use them to wipe off my desk, I use them to wipe up pan pastels. So when they get kind of crusty, then I throw them in the washer and they smell downy fresh. And I use what is it we use, Abraham? The downy beads.
Yeah. Somebody is asking, what do you use on your stamps the first time you use them to condition them?
Ooh,
Versamark.
good question. Yes, this is the secret ingredient. So Versamark is a glycerin-based ink, and this is great for conditioning your stamps. So as you guys know, stamps are made in molds, whether they're rubber stamps or photopolymer stamps. They're made in a mold, and once they're demolded, there is sometimes a demolding agent that's on there. And if you're using cheaper silicone stamps, what is silicone designed to do? It's designed to resist water. That's why we use silicone around our bathtub. So it's not designed to accept ink. I understand that it's molded, but it's not designed to accept ink, which is why we prefer photopolymer stamps. So what these stamps do is sometimes when you're using a brand new stamp, it resists ink and the ink bubbles up. So what you can do first couple times is stamp it with Versamark. And what the Versamark is going to do is it's going to fill in all of the hills and valleys of your ink to even it out, but it's also going to make your ink your stamp want to accept colored ink. It also protects your stamp a little bit from staining. So this is great. If you have a stamp that you're having a hard time stamping and it's resisting, stamp with this. And if you're still having a hard time, use a little eraser on top of that just to lightly erase the surface of your stamp, just like that. All you're going to do. And you'll find that your ink transfer is going to be so much better after that. And you only have to do it the first couple times. This and then the color, this and the color. Don't wipe it off. This color stamp, this color stamp. After a couple times, it's going to accept ink, no problem. That's a good question. I like it.
All right.
Pam
Somebody
wants
wants
to adopt Abraham.
I was just gonna say that. I like organizing. I don't necessarily like cleaning. I hate cleaning, actually.
How about we talk about one of your favorite things? And then we'll let
folders?
Tracy talk about hers. No.
What's that?
What?
So we're going to let Stacy talk about heat embossing. And then we'll let Tracy talk about blending daubers and blending brushes.
Yay. Okay.
Well, are we gonna have time to give them some tips on their glitter pastes?
What? Oh, we can do
Remember?
that at the end. I forgot about that one. Let me add it to the list.
Okay. Heat embossing. I don't know. Let's see.
Well, not all heat embossing powders are the same. There are I would say two companies that I would recommend as the superiors. And the rest are kind of like, meh.
So we're gonna say Ranger and Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and this is pretty much all I mean, I probably have some off-market ones, but that's most likely because I was given some handed down to me from friends or whatever. But for the most part, though, the ones that I like to buy is going to be the Wow. Now, my understanding is the Wow embossing powders have an anti-static property built into them. So it's supposed to help with when you lay it down on your product, but also, hold please, I gotta find. If you use these little things, these build static. So it kind of negates what you're trying to do. So they don't recommend using these little containers with your anti-static embossing folder or embossing powder, excuse me. So I also like, for me, I have a big container of the Wow embossing powder, clear gloss superfine. This is the best for everything. So you don't really necessarily need a bunch of different colors of embossing powder if you have a dye-based ink, because in different colors, like for example, Catherine Pooler, because you can stamp with Catherine Pooler inks. They stay wet for a little bit longer than most dye inks may. And you can then put a clear embossing powder on them and then heat emboss them. So then you have whatever color.
Ink. Any pigment ink that will work on.
For sure, any pigment ink, because pigment inks stay wetter longer than dye ink. So for sure. So for me, whenever I'm wanting to do something like black embossing on white paper, using black embossing powder can get everywhere. It's not always going to stay where you want it to stay. So using a clear embossing ink with black embossing powder, your results are going to be so-so. But if you use a black ink, so if you were to use
Versafine
Clair Nocturne with a clear embossing powder, you're going to get really good results. Because if you have any embossing powder that strays off of where the ink is, you're not going to see it very, very well because it's clear. So that's my tip for embossing powders. You don't have to go buy a crap ton of colored embossing powders because you can pretty much make whatever color you want with the inks that you have. Nice, Tracy.
Thank you.
People want to know what you're using.
Okay, I'll tell you real quick. This is Fuchsia Flower, which is a glimmer from Spellbinders. And the die is from Spellbinders is the die of the month, Sweet and Snarky Birthday Wishes. So we've got a pretty happy birthday. I put it on hammer mill paper for 30 seconds on medium heat because my thing is really hot right now. So I'm down to medium heat because I had some overfoiling. Now I'm going to take it over to my Gemini and actually cut out this awesome sentiment. Look at that. Woo.
Beautiful. Can you show
Thanks.
them the little hot gloves? They want to see the little thumb protectors. Those
Pot
come
holders?
with the Gemini foil press.
Yep, I'll show you
use
how they
mine.
work.
I don't
You
use
grab
mine.
your thing like this. See how you grab it? It's just it helps you so that you don't
fingertip
burn your
hot
fingers.
pad
Yeah.
thingy.
Yep. That comes with the foil press.
All right.
Yes.
Is it best to use white ink with clear powder on glass? So I'm going to talk about that less real quick. So I'm going to say for me, my favorite white embossing powder is Ranger's Super Fine Detail, because when we're using white, normally it's for sentiments on black cardstock, and ink will go into the cardstock, but it doesn't always say opaque as white as we would want it. So embossing powder white from Ranger, but super fine detail is what you want to get. Super fine detail.
And I have the same one. I have the same one as my white. I rarely use this. However, they do have a wow that is a super fine white on Amazon too. I just haven't gone through that. It's not my go-to. This is my go-to, obviously. This is the only one that I have that's in a big container like this.
I don't
Because I
have the
use it.
Ranger one. I have the wow. Super
And
fine.
everybody should use some kind of anti-static tool. I don't care what kind of anti-static tool. We don't use it in foiling. We only use it in embossing. So there is the embossing baggie. And I think everybody starts with that little guy until we realize that he sheds and leaves a mess everywhere he goes. He's like Pigpen, right? So then we move to this. Some of you guys don't like the smell of this. It does kind of smell like baby powder to me. But if you don't like the smell of this, it's very perfumey. There is a brand new one out, which Chow has gotten. So we're going to have to ask Chow to let us know how that one is. And it used kaolin clay in that one. But you can make your own with a pantyhose and a little spoonful of starch if you don't have one. But always use an anti-static tool when you are heat embossing. It keeps the fingerprints, the oils from your fingerprints, the static cling away. If you're having issues with your embossing, you know, that you want to make sure you're using this anti-static tool. Do not use this as dusty for your foiling. If I find out you are using this for your foiling, you will immediately be removed
from the Foiling Snobs Club.
Yes, that's it. You're done. You're out.
That is immediate expulsion.
Yes.
That's funny.
The other thing I want to recommend are these silica beads. So somebody had said earlier that embossing powders go bad. I don't know if that is true or not. I do have some embossing powders that have clumped, but you get these when you buy your sneakers and things. These are moisture wicking away silica beads. So you can keep these in with your embossing powder wherever you store them to store some of that moisture. If your embossing powder clumps, you can just take the end of a paintbrush and kind of shake that around a little, and you should still be able to use the embossing powder. I have embossing powders that are very old and they still work great. I do think there are certain companies where the quality is not as good, so they may not work as well. If you overheat it or underheat it, you might have a problem. Oh, bless you. I would also like to kind of dispel a rumor that I heard. I don't believe this is true, but I am not a chemist. Someone said there's an embossing company that states that there is no wax in their embossing powder. I don't think that that's true. I've used that embossing powder. It literally smells like melting crayons. And embossing powder is exactly that. It is a super fine quality of toner and wax. That's what it's designed to do, is to melt. So they basically shave it to microfine particles, and then you're heating it up with your heat tool to melt it. As far as heat tools go, any heat tool will work. There's a lot on the market. They're all great. So I have the original Wagner, which they no longer make. And now they've gone to this little kind of like handled one. But my old Nicole heat gun worked fine. If you have a Stampin' Up one, if you have a pink one, if you have a blue one, if you have a gray one, if you have the Ranger heated tool, it doesn't matter. They all work fine. You don't have to have the Wagner. Do not fall into that trap. You do not need to spend $50 on a heating tool. You can get a really good heating tool for $15.
I just wanted to make a comment, a tip. The Wow embossing powders that you can get, like this one's actually a Madison Emberson one, but I do have like Catherine Pooler. Let's see, trying to find my Catherine Poolers. Here it is. So this one's Skylight. Nope, not what I want. Sorry. 101. Okay. So these are all Catherine Pooler inspired, or she released them, but they have different. So like if you look at this, it's got huge pieces of plastic or wax. And so in order to get these to work well, what you want to do is after you've put it onto your project, heat it from the bottom, because these big, huge pieces are just going to fly everywhere and they won't stay on your project and melt like they should. So you definitely want to, and you'll know there's just big chunks of stuff in these, but they're gorgeous. So yeah, heat it from the bottom, heat it from the underside. Be careful, don't burn your paper, don't hold it on too long in one area. It does happen. We all have done it. You'll learn.
Yes. Yep. And you really have to learn what embossing powder is supposed to look like when it melts. Some embossing powders are metallic and you'll see the shine. Some have glitter in them and you can actually heat those a little less. Some are ultra thick, just like Trace or Stacy just said. So you have to heat them from the bottom. Some are matte, so they don't heat to a shine. The new distressed, whatever that stuff was I just got, it heats to a matte, almost a rubbery kind of surface. So you have to do a little sample practice with each of your embossing powders. Different companies have different colors, different mixtures. You can also mix your own. There is no rule that says you can't take a little spoon of this and a little spoon of that and make your own little concoction of embossing powders. Embossing powders are a lot of fun. They do add a lot of sparkle and pizzazz and just step your cards up a little bit. They're fairly inexpensive. They do last a really long time. So there's a lot of things to do, but I would say number one, make sure you have some kind of anti-static bag, buddy, whatever you want to do for anti-static. Have any kind of heating gun will work. You do not need an industrial heating tool for it to work. So if you have a $15 one, that's perfectly fine. It will work great. There is no difference between heating tools. You do not need 3 or 4 of them. And then just like I said, just try to make sure that you're keeping them in a dry area. They're not going to get any moisture. My craft room is in my basement. Now it's a fully finished basement, so there's not a lot of moisture down here. You want to keep them out of the sun. If you have an embossing powder that's not working very well, toss it. There's no reason to keep it. But you don't really need a lot of colors. Like Stacy said, if you're just trying out any pigment ink, you need a good clear. So a good clear embossing powder will work for you. We have Wow, we have Ranger, but you can use your Distress Oxide inks. You can use the Catherine Pooler inks. You got to move pretty quick with the Catherine Pooler inks, or you can use any of the VersaFine Claire pigment inks. All of those will work underneath clear embossing powder and it'll look like you used a colored embossing powder. The glitter ones are also fun if you're doing holiday cards and things like that, but have fun with it. Test them out. Some are opaque, some are transparent, some have glitter, some are metallic. You just got to experiment. I would stay away from store brand embossing powders. They generally look better than they emboss. So when you see them at the store and they're $2 and they're on sale at the dollar rack, walk away, just walk away.
The other thing you can use embossing powders for is you can lay down double-sided tape on paper and you can attach it just like people do with glitter. You can also do it with embossing powder. So you can go ahead and you can attach it to this and then lightly go over it with your embossing gun to melt it. But you can do all kinds of designs with double-sided tape.
Jennifer saying zinc is one of the ones I would not recommend. It is one of the cheaper ones. It does not hold up very well. So I would say it's not a great brand.
Yeah, I would agree to that.
And people are talking about putting aluminum foil behind their project when they're heat embossing. I've heard a little bit of both as to yes, that's good, and no, it's not. So I'm not sure either way, but I have seen some people where they make like a tray where they actually have aluminum foil laid in it. And when they emboss, they put, you know, their project in there so that it kind of like reflects the heat. Not 100% sure. Just try it.
I don't
see
know
if it
that
works
I would
better.
go through all that. Make
Uh-oh,
sure you
my
have a good
battery's
set of
about to die.
tweezers. Uh-oh.
Plug in. Oh, we
Let me
lost
plug it
Tracy's
in.
video.
Yeah. I did want to say about somebody asked, is it supposed to bubble when you heat emboss? That means you're heat embossing
No.
too long. Too
No.
long. Yep. You're supposed to stop before it bubbles.
As soon as
so-
you see it change from powder to melt, you move on. You do not
Yeah.
hold the gun on there. You move. You don't have to wiggle waggle like that. You just want to be a smooth movement forward, back, around until you're done. And then once it's all heated, you do a real quick swipe over the whole thing. Have a good set of tweezers to hold your project. You will burn yourself. The embossing powder, once it melts, it stays melted for a moment. And if you touch it, you will burn yourself. So
Yes.
please let it cool down. Use some nice tweezers to hold it in place.
It's plastic.
Beautiful.
A lot of the time it's melted
See that?
plastic you're playing with. So it takes a second to, I've burnt myself before because I've touched something and it's still wet and it sticks to your finger. So, and it
So
burns.
this is Wow Gold embossing powder, and it just bubbled a little bit at the H because I got a little bit too hot. So that just shows you that's supposed to look shiny and smooth, not bubbly and bumpy. Okay.
All right. Tracy, tell us about blending.
Okay, so I did not know this when I first started crafting, but I became an ink blending background lover. Okay, like
She is
some
the
of you,
guru of background ink blending.
some of you, when you're like just trying to keep busy, you might cut up paper or whatever. For me, sitting down and just blending is like so much fun. I love to ink blend. This is what I did last night. I ink blended and I did this Blue Night rubber stamp horse on there. And I was just trying to get the right, and I was using Catherine Pooler inks. And you see, I've got some beautiful sunsets here that I can use then for my backgrounds. And I did one in Distress Oxide too. So I do think a lot about blending tools. So when we first started, we used this of a blending tool. This is the original Ranger.
Well, the original one is actually square. It's a rectangle.
Oh, that's
you don't
right.
see
Yeah.
that guy anymore.
The square foam.
Here's taking
Yeah.
it back old school.
Yeah.
You see it
Here
over.
is the original.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. So the only thing that I don't like about these is the harsh edge around the foam. Okay. So if you don't blend off your paper, if you go straight to the paper, then there's going to be a harsh edge where this foam cuts. Well, you know how they cut the foam out. It's basically you pull it off and you stick it back on. And that is the original that I am thinking of. When I first started, it was this. That was what we had. Okay. Then we got beautiful blending brushes. You can buy these on Amazon. You don't have to buy, which I did when I first started. I bought like the real expensive ones that were like $40. They're like rainbow color. They're on my shelf like they're my museum piece. I don't even want to use them because they were so expensive to buy. This little caddy is by Make It by Marco on Etsy. I put it on this little Lazy Susan thing that spins around with a piece of vinyl from T. And it's nice because it has a center that you can put things in if you wanted to. So you can actually put things in it. So blending brushes, what's nice about them is they're so soft. And I have a set of blending brushes for my dye inks, and I also have a set of blending brushes for my Distress Oxides. With Distress Oxides, you don't necessarily have to have as many as I do. You can take your Distress Oxide blending brush, clean it on a microfiber towel, and then go to the next color. With Distress Oxides, you don't have to have this many. Like I have a lot, but I got most of these from the dollar store.
Tracy,
Some
can you
were
explain
donated
why
to
you
me.
Can you explain why you have separate brushes for your Distress Oxide versus your
Yeah.
dye?
Yeah, so they're two different kinds of ink formulations. You don't want to contaminate your dye inks, which are Catherine Pooler. For me, these are all Catherine Poolers right here. You don't want to contaminate those with Distress Oxides. They're completely different ink formulas, right? So you don't have to have as many brushes as me, but you do want to have separate ones for your oxides versus your dye-based inks. Does that make sense, Stacy? How I explain that?
Let
So
me
you
go
can-
through. Let me go through the science of that. Dye inks dry. So if you look at my brushes here, I was just going through and putting my finger on them. These are all dry. So even though they're stained, they are dry. Oxide inks are pigment ink. So oxides, Versifying Clear, those are pigment inks. That ink stays on the brush. Even when you think it's dry, that ink is still there. So because it's still there, if you cross use this in a dye ink pad and then go into a pigment ink pad, it will do ink transfer. So that's why you should have two sets. You don't have to if you clean your brushes in between use. You can use a microfiber towel and just wipe them. But you should, when you're crossing between pigment inks and dye inks, that's why, because you don't want to, one stays wet and the other one doesn't.
So you definitely, you can go from your dye-based to an oxide pad, but you cannot go the other way. So just know that. So you definitely don't want to get your oxides, without cleaning. Without cleaning them.
To me, that's too confusing. I just have two sets.
You don't
have to have a bunch.
Well.
You don't have to have a bunch.
Just color families.
If you have one for each color of the rainbow for your dye base, you're set. The only reason I have so many for my oxides is just because I picked them at the dollar store and I just was using them. It's not that I have to have that many. I could really actually get rid of some of these. One thing that's nice about some of these brushes, some of them have a finer tip. So this one has a finer tip. This one is even smaller. So these are great for stenciling in small areas. If you are using your stencils and your ink blending, these different size tips can come in handy. So that might be one reason why I have so many different oxide ink here, because I used them for stenciling and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely would recommend just going to Amazon, getting yourself two sets, and just keep to your basic rainbow colors. You don't have to have as many as I do. You can see, look how many I have for my dye-based ink. As many that will fit on this caddy. That's it. That's all I have.
This is two sets. They're in my Amazon shop, you guys. They're $10, no more than 15. They're two sets. They have a bright set and a neutral set, or you can get the whole set. They are very, very cheap on Amazon. They look just like the expensive ones that some of the stores are putting out and selling for $50. But you can get very, very inexpensive blending brushes. They work the same.
So I don't have the little Lazy Susan thing, but I have this one, which I like. The Lazy Susan just takes up a little bit too much room on my desk, but this works perfect. It holds all my brushes and they're not touching bristle to bristle, so they're not going to contaminate each other.
And I got that from Five Below, you guys. That is from Five Below.
So someone said they like the Dollar Tree. They are nice because they're very
Amazon
rigid.
though too. So
yeah, you can get them from Amazon.
Yeah, they have them on Amazon as well, because we don't have Five Below here.
This circle one you can only get from Etsy, and it's Make It by Marco. But I want to talk about these Dollar Tree ones because they're nice because they're rigid. So if you're heavy-handed like me, sometimes when I'm ink blending, my little brush neck will bend back really far if it's a cheap one. But boy, these are rigid. They don't move. So that's one thing. The Dollar Tree ones are fine. You don't have to spend a lot of money. And then Carla had a question. What happens if the ink gets contaminated? So what happens if you accidentally do that? Do you just try to wipe it off?
Yes.
And just
And that happens all the time to us because we're crafters. So if you accidentally re-ink the wrong ink pad with the wrong color, usually it's probably because they're pretty close. Like maybe you do an orange and a red, or a red and an orange. You're just going to take a paper towel and you're going to dab the ink pad with your paper towel, and that's going to lift all of that ink out. So if you have cross contamination of your inks because of a brush, don't panic, just try to clean that up. The thing that could happen in the long run is that you will ruin that color, so you would have to clean the ink pad or buy a new ink pad. Worst case scenario, depending on what kind of projects you're doing and what you're doing, you could actually, with any of your products, you could introduce bacteria. And bacteria will will actually grow mold on your ink pads, will actually grow mold on your brushes, and it will turn black and smell and be gross. So we don't want to deal with that. So that's why we always recommend like cleaning your stamps, using rags, often cleaning your rags. You'll always see we're always wiping our surfaces down, because these are frequent touch points of a lot of different products, and a lot of them have moisture. A lot of companies have an anti-mold agent in their ink pads. When you've had an ink pad for 10 years, I don't know how much longer that anti-mold agent is going to last. So you just want to be careful, make sure you're cleaning your products and trying not to mix things up.
So we have a lot of questions going. Go ahead.
I just think they were also asking about if you have like your Distress Oxide and you go into one of your dye based inks. So it's pretty much the same thing. You would just dab it off, wipe it off, to remove the Distress Oxide as soon as you realized you made the mistake.
Yeah, just use the paper towel and dab it off.
Somebody also mentioned that they have a problem with this because it tips over. I've seen other ones. This one I got on Amazon, but I've seen other ones like at Walmart where they do not have they're not weighted as much as this one is. This one's weighted really well, so it does not tip over. It's very hard for me to tip it over.
Yeah, the ones on Amazon I think are higher quality than the ones from the dollar store. And if you don't have a dollar store, or you don't have a dollar store that supplies these blender brushes, Amazon has them. And you can get them like 20 in a pack. They're so cheap. So that's always an option if you can't find them. And I mean, there was a time when I was finding them at CVS and at Walmart when they first came out.
Yeah, MJ says look for makeup brushes. You're right. Yep.
Ciao, somebody's trying to find this. Can you find it on Amazon? I forget what it's called.
Okay, yeah. So we have some questions about the exact model that Stacy's using. If we can have a link for that, that'd be great. And Make It by Marco is based in Indiana. So they do ship to the US, and they're $15, these little round
She is
ones.
in the FSC too, the owner.
Yeah. And this is just one of those little lazy Susans that Nancy showed us on Amazon. Yep, you can glue this to the lazy Susan.
They come two in a pack. These are the 4-inch circles.
I just didn't get a chance to glue mine yet, so I put one of those little vinyl things on there. Okay.
Tracy, can you touch on the domed blenders and also paper?
Yes. So the dome foam blenders are outstanding. They're fantastic for ink blending your backgrounds. As a matter of fact, all of these were ink blended using the domed foam blenders. You see how they look. They don't even look like they have lines in them. They're just beautifully blended. I can tell you that it's because of this wonderful product. You can buy them at scrapbook.com, 10 in a pack, or you can buy them through Ranger. Doesn't matter. They fit the original. Go ahead.
One more place has them now. I just picked these up yesterday at Hobby Lobby.
Okay. Well, no, that's cool. So when it comes to paper, when it comes to ink blending, it's all about the paper, and it's all about a juicy ink pad. Okay. So we use Hammermill Premium Color Copy Cover. That's what we use here at the FSC. It's our universal, wonderful paper. Not only is it great for ink blending, but it's great for hot foiling. See that? I hot foiled using Hammermill Premium Color Copy Cover paper. You can get the 80-pound or the 100-pound in Nancy's Amazon shop. It's listed there. I used to buy Bristol Smooth, but it's just inconvenient because the pad is an awkward size for me. I always have like this big strip left over. And with Bristol Smooth, you don't get as much for the money that you spend. The Hammermill is just fantastic for ink blending. But again, you want to have a juicy ink pad. So if your ink pad is not absorbing a lot of ink onto your tool, then you just need to put more ink. You need to re-ink your ink pad. That's really, really important.
Does anybody have opinions on these brushes?
Oh, those are great
Which
for
ones?
like dusting my keyboard, you know.
Yeah, throw them in the trash.
They're really
Yeah,
good for
I have
dusting
them
hot
still.
foil. Hot foil. When you
Yeah,
have
they're
like
good.
overfoiling and you can dust them. Yeah, that's what they're not good for stencils. That's what they're made for. They're not good for stencils. It's the only
They're
reason I
really
keep
good
them.
for
They
dusting
are
your
if you're going to
keyboard. Look,
stencil your wall.
Sure.
look, I'm dusting my keyboard with them, Stacy. They're fantastic for that.
So I want to go back really quick to the daubers. I wanted to show everybody what I did because I used to store the daubers with a little Velcro dot on the bottom of all my Distress Oxides because I don't like using, I have the brushes. I didn't start with the brushes. I started with the daubers because I don't remember who it was that showed every single Distress Oxide had its own dauber. So I took off the daubers off the bottom of my ink pads and I put them in a book so that my ink pads, I can store more in my containers. So this is what I ended up doing. So I printed out the labels that you can get on Ranger. And then I have now my little Velcro dots and the little daubers, and they're all in here. So I have a dauber for every single Distress Oxide that I have, which is all of them. So,
Yeah.
and this is
I
handy.
took, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying, this is handy to have if that's the way you want to. Just wanted to share my organizing.
Very nice, Stacy. I took a hint from Tracy Fear, Not Afraid of Color T. She puts hers on these boards. So I got these little wood boards. I have one for oxide and one for Catherine Pooler. This one is for oxides. And put a little Velcro dot, and then they store inside my IKEA drawers. And when I need to grab them, they're here. Now, for those of you that are really concerned, you can label these if that is your thing, but I just eyeball them up and I know which color is which. But this is something that has really worked for me because I couldn't stand attaching them to my ink pads anymore. They weren't fitting in my storage system. And finally, we have the magical fingertip blending brushes. These are awesome. So another thing that Tracy Fear turned us on to are these little fingertip blending brushes. Okay, so you have your ink. I use dye inks. These are my Catherine Pooler. And then you're just going to be able to ink blend that piece of paper. It's really great for stenciling, especially the little fine details. These are in Nancy's Amazon shop. You get a nice number of them for a really good price, and they store inside each other. Look at that. They store inside each other, and then you just put them in their little plastic sleeve, and then you can say goodnight and tuck them into bed, and they're ready to go. Look at that. These little fingertip are not domed. They're not foam. They are actual brushes. Right. So there you go. Love these.
Nancy doesn't have those yet.
I don't have them either.
Hint,
oh
hint.
My gosh. Okay. Awesome. Yeah,
we have to not have some stuff so people can buy it for us for right.
So the question comes up every time we do a video on the hammer mill. This is the hammer mill. It's the one with the gecko on it. It is Hammer Mill Premium Color Copy Cover. Okay, you don't want text weight, and you want it to be either 80 or 100 pound. They're really not too different. It's personal preference, 80 or 100 pound. And this is what we talked about in our first show. If you missed the first show, that was the one Stacy and I did. Go back and check it out. It's how to spend your money wisely. This was like one of the first things we talked about. All the things you can do with this paper and save your money. Bristol is amazing. I love Bristol. If you can find Bristol on sale, buy it. The Bristol paper is super amazing, but it is expensive. And it's like Tracy said, it's a 9x12 pad. So it's really weird the size of it. But this Hammer Mill paper, you get a whole ream. It's super cheap. You can get 80 or 100 pound. It's in my Amazon shop. It is also available in Europe. And yes, We have a UK Amazon shop. So if you are in the UK and there are products you want me to add to the Amazon shop, please email me and send me the link and I will build up my UK shop. Because I'd like to help you guys out with the UK shopping. And if we can earn a couple dollars, hey, we're okay with that. But you can get this as well.
Nancy, I was watching Pink Fresh Studios YouTube live today, and they recommended hammer mill for hot foiling. And somebody else said that Jennifer McGuire is now recommending hammer mill for hot foiling. So the secret is out.
Somebody's been listening to me.
Yes, yes. You can get 80-pound or 100-pound. Doesn't matter. They're almost the same text. They're almost the same weight.
They're just super smooth paper. It's smoother than Nina. It's cheaper than Nina. It's just a really, really good paper for any kind of foiling, stamping, coloring, blending, you name it.
Buy it through Amazon, please. You'll have your best price there. Don't buy it through an expensive store online that sells you like 25 sheets for $5.99. That's expensive.
Yes. And then you pay $6 for shipping. Hello.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So if you ever have questions about ink blending, you can talk to me. I love to talk about ink blending and all these wonderful colors.
Stencils and ink blending is Tracy's jam.
Yes, that's my jam. That's for sure.
Hey guys, well, we have been on for 2 hours. We have some great conversation and I've added a couple more things to our list. So looks like we might have a number 3.
Okay. And definitely send us a note, email us at foilingsnobsclub@gmail.com and let us know if there's something that we didn't cover and you would like us to.
Yeah. And if you're watching another person do hot foiling, and don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm part of the Foiling Snobs Club with Nancy Stamps, and she's really great at teaching you how to foil. We love that. That is fantastic.
Wow,
There's
be
nothing wrong
careful
with that.
because we've had 2 YouTubers come after us.
Well, that's true. Well, say it in a nice way, say it in a suggestive way. Say, hey, there's someone called Nancy Stamp. She's really good at foiling, and then just let it go. You don't want to
And
say it.
she
over
loves
and over again.
Jennifer McGuire and Christina Warner and would do anything to be on YouTube with them.
Yes.
Somebody's asking what's Hamilco versus Hammermill.
Okay, Hamilco is for toner printing. So for Hamilco, there are basically 3 papers I recommend. One in the US, one if you are anywhere else in the US, and one for the UK. That is for toner printing. Hot foiling, you can hot foil on anything.
So watch the first video because we went over all of that in the first video.
Yes. Mm-hmm. When am I showing the new Crafty Critter goodies? Probably not until I get back from Florida. I will do that sometime in October. I have been running around trying to get all my design team work. There is a new release coming out for kitchen sink stamps on Monday, the 27th. And I think I have 5 videos recorded for that. I have a couple of Spellbinders videos recorded, but I am not here, you guys, the last week of the month. I am in Florida for work. So between dealing with my mom's back surgery, the kids going back to school, my job has gotten extremely busy lately, especially since we have this conference coming up at the end of the month. I'm trying to squeeze in all of my design team stuff and working on coordinating Stamp Wars coming up. So you won't see the Crafty Critter goodies until probably October, which will be a good time because I know you guys are starting on your Christmas cards and it looks like I have not even opened the box. I opened the box, took a quick peek, and it's in my to-do list, but it probably won't be until October. They will give us, I believe, a discount code when I do that. And yes, I will be doing some giveaways.
Yes, Dusty is on Amazon and Nancy's Amazon shop.
Yeah, you actually get 3. You can buy 3 brushes for $9 right now. They're on sale.
Okay, cool. And don't forget the Mod Squad challenge. We have 8 entries now. It closes in 10 days. September the 28th is your last day. And the theme is butterflies. Everybody likes butterflies. You all have butterfly stamps. Please make a card with a butterfly and enter it into the Mod Squad challenge. You could be entered. You're entering to win a $25 gift certificate from Kitchen Sink Stamps. You can enter 3 cards. You can enter more if you use kitchen sink stamps, but you do not have to use kitchen sink stamps. And it's a random drawing. Okay, so if there's a new release coming out from kitchen sink stamps, you say, Nancy, and it's a good one, you say, Nancy, right?
Oh, should I give a little sneaky
Oh.
peeks? Should I do some sneaky peeks?
Wait, on what?
What I'm saying is you can do a sneaky peek, but you definitely want to give yourselves a chance to win a $25 gift certificate. Then you can use it to buy the new release.
Yes, she's so right. She is on top of it.
Chow, can you link Nancy's Amazon shop? We have a few people. Thank you. She's on it. T, thank you.
All right, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to quickly show. If you see it, great. If you don't see it, too bad.
You missed out.
I just posted the Mod Squad challenge link.
And I'm just sharing these are my hot foil creations since we started with hot foil stuff. Oh my, Nancy. Oh my. So that's what these are all. Woo! Never more.
And maybe some stencils. Some very large, very cool stencils. Okay, that's all you guys get to see.
Ooh.
So those are all going to come out Monday,
awesome.
the 27th. I am very super stoked about this because obviously there's some themes in here that I think were missed with some stamp companies. And I think there's some very cool, obviously the 3D looking dimension to these. I also wanted to mention, thank you guys for helping sell out the kitchen sink stamp timber set. For those of you who were lucky enough to get it, the stamp set was sold with and without dies. If you got it without the dies, only for this stamp set, the Stamp Timber Ray of Sunshine stamp set, you can email Maria at kitchensinkstamps@gmail.com and ask her for the Ray of Sunshine SVG. She will send you the SVG only for this stamp set. If you need SVGs for any other stamp sets, you have to go on her website and purchase them. When you purchase stamps from Kitchen Sink Stamps directly, you get those SVGs for free. When you order them from outside companies, you don't get those SVGs. You have to buy them. So, it's just a little incentive to purchase from Kitchen Sink Stamps. I believe that all of the girls, Stacy, Tracy, and Chow, got this stamp set. So yeah. I think we're going to do a live and we have alternative options. So Tracy brought up the butterflies. So if you didn't get this stamp set, there are 2 stamp sets you can use that I'm going to be showing, which is the giant sunflower set and the butterflies that Tracy has. So if you missed out on this, don't worry. You can go and purchase from Kitchen Sink Stamps the giant sunflower set and the butterfly set. And if you want to stamp along with us, we'll do a stamp with me night where you guys can pull out your stamp timber sets. You can pull out the butterflies, you can pull out the sunflower, and we can all play along together. So if you want to do that with us, go ahead and head on over to Kitchen Sink Stamps. You can order the sunflower and order the butterfly set if you want to do a stamp with me. Even if you didn't get the stamp timber set, we do have a link, and we also have a discount code for Kitchen Sink Stamps.
Yes, if you go to Mod Squad Challenge, there's a discount code for Kitchen Sink Stamps.
Yeah, the stamp timber set you could only get from Kitchen Sink Stamps. The rest of these you can get from Simon Says Stamps.
The stamp timbers from Simon. Yeah,
the stamp timber set is sold out. You cannot get that one. But if you wanted to play along with us, you can get these other 2 stamp sets from Kitchen Sink Stamps, and we'll do an impromptu stamp with me night after everybody gets their set.
So somebody also was asking if we could ever do organizing our stamps, our embossing folders, all that stuff. So I think that might be like a great, spin-off at some point, because I do know people. Video. Huh?
An organization night video?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and there's various levels of organization, so we'll
Yeah.
learn from each other, right?
Yes.
I'm finally getting organized since I have a remodeled craft room, but I still
Well-
need to weed through things.
I think the way I organized in the beginning is different than the way I organize now as well. So it's
I
another
think
one of
it's
those
always
things.
evolving as your
Oh, for
style
sure.
evolves, as your room gets smaller.
As your products get more and you run out of room. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you everybody for hanging out with us. Thank you, ladies, for all of your input. I love you guys. Thank you, Chow and T, for
Ditto.
adminning.
Yes,
I
thank
would
you.
like to say that Chow and Stacy are striving for 1,000. So we have started to build up their giveaway piles for when they get to 1,000. So if you are not subscribed, their link is listed down below in the description pile. Please subscribe to everybody on that list, including our special guest, Daniel of Dell and Artie, and you become an Artie. Daniel has amazing coloring skills. He works for Colorado Stamp Company, Hero Arts, Catherine Pooler. So he has a lot of the mainstream stuff that you guys are into. So that's super cool. And follow them. And you never know who's going to be joining us and what we're going to be picking up next. I have already started to mail out the Stamp Wars 15 box. We have a date of October 16th. I do believe it's going to be at 8 p.m. Stamp Wars again, 8 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, October 16th, Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here. We will have another special guest joining us. And this is something we've never done before on Stamp Wars. So it is going to be super exciting. And I can tell you that they each got mailed a 6-pound box. So it'll be
What?
super exciting.
Whoa.
To see them open these boxes live.
Are you gonna tell them who? Never mind. Nothing.
Yes. Tell us.
No. You've been missing the calls lately, woman. So you know.
I know. I've been so busy.
If you were called as a winner tonight, make sure you email us at foilingsnobsclub@gmail.com with your address so that we can send you your prize. To everybody else, don't forget the thumbs up on your way out. We love you all. Be safe, be kind, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Chow and T, for your help.